Hello, small but mighty members. How are you going today? I'm Colin Derham, and this is my little slot to celebrate Janice's wonderful birthday, incredible birthday bash. So this is my first subtitle. So because we've got a few people with hearing impairments, a few deaf people here, I thought I'd make subtitles, and they also double as cue cards for me, so I don't ramble on too much. So first up, happy birthday. Oh, I'm going to turn it around that way. Happy birthday, Queen Janice. And we're all so thrilled that you put this birthday bash on for all of us, which is incredibly nice of you. And you're donating so generously to all these wonderful charities. I can't remember any of them except the one that I chose for us Aussies down here. But from what I know, you're donating equal amounts to what authors have donated. How do I explain? Look, it's 1:30 a.m. here, so please excuse my inarticulate manner. Anyway, this charity that I am talking about for us Aussies, which basically is Nadia, me, Danielle. I'm sure there are others. I'm so sorry if I've forgotten or neglected to work out who you are, but you're all wonderful. So this is Are You OK?, which is an Australian charity organisation for depression and suicide prevention. And it's a very valuable service. It's about giving regular people the skills and training and just knowledge to approach people that they know that might be going through a hard time, and giving them sort of grassroots support. And I had donated and bought an awesome shirt and bandana-y thing. Couldn't get the hat, they were out of stock. But unfortunately, they have not sent it to me yet. So I didn't get to wear my little Are You OK cozy, which is a shame. Now, so I'm going to ramble on a little bit about the books now, because, we're all here for books, aren't we? So I'm so delighted to be able to come here and paddle around in the MM pool, because I guess writing gay fiction is it's related. We're writing about gay men in love, and what mine is kind of more is, in Australia we call this grunge lit, and in England / Britain they call it kitchen sink realism. Now, these are literary, and that was sort of movies as well, movements, and they focus on real life. So real lives, mainly working class people. Also, some of them focus on kind of people that are really down and out. Maybe they're living very marginal existences, but a lot of it's very working class people that are struggling, but they're just getting by. It's contemporary urban and suburban existences, usually. And there's sort of, there are various areas that they tend to focus on. Mainly, though, it's focusing on true-to-life interpersonal relationships, in like an in-depth exploration of emotional issues. Sometimes they cover, young people acting up and like drugs, alcohol, casual sex, that sort of thing. For me personally, I concentrate more on the mental health struggles, emotional issues and kind of complex relationships of just very ordinary people living life to the best they can, and their day-to-day struggles, basically. However, when I started writing this, I wanted to hybridize it with gay erotica. So in doing that, I've like to give a strong romantic focus. So I can't lay claim to it being a romance, because I do a lot of naughty things that romance authors are apparently not allowed to do. And sometimes I get like slapped on the wrist for that. Sometimes the characters say hurtful things and maybe make not the best decisions, because I like them to be just as real as possible. So that's kind of the way it just worked out that way. I mean, I've watched these sort of movies and read these sort of books since I was a little child. And then most importantly, down the bottom there are loads of sex, lots of it. So maybe not to everyone's taste, but certainly to mine. What I started out with, I'm not gonna go on too long about this, but it kind of came into a series. They are a standalone novels and novellas, but it's the Bondi Bears series because, when people in your wonderful countries think about Australia, they think about, sun, hot, kangaroos, blah, 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 and beaches. So even though I don't get to live in a nice, trendy, expensive beachside area because I'm just too poor, I've set the books in a trendy beachside area. So they're bears and otters, and by that I mean, earthy, hairy men. Otters are the slim ones and bears are the big chunky ones. And they live in Bondi Beach, Sydney, Australia. So the books do get set in other places, but they're kind of based in Bondi. They kind of revolve around that area. The first of the books, I'll just briefly do these ones, was called Hound. And it's about an Australian artist who is living with bipolar disorder quite successfully. He's, quite stable. He forms this relationship with a skittish American businessman who's been living in Australia for a few years. But it's a very complicated friends with benefits relationship. And that causes a lot of issues for him and leads to deterioration in his mental health. It gets quite dramatic and I think upsetting in some ways, but it definitely does have a happy ever after. It does. The next one is The Lookout, and this is, in very minor rippled ways, it's been a little bit controversial. That's also set in Bondi. It's 3 new housemates who live in an apartment, near the beach. They form this wild throuple, and they have explosive sex all summer, like a lot of it. But the book changes about halfway through, and things just go horribly wrong for them, and it's quite harrowing. There's a lot of drama. It's very bittersweet, and there is a partial happy ending. Like, it sounds like a massage parlor. There is a happy ending in an unconventional way, but it's not the usual romance type one. That was that. The third book I've got, and I'm just briefly going to mention this. So it's One Night Stand, it's called. And it's basically 3 novellas, all based around casual sex and how it intersects with relationships. Because this is what happens, a lot of relationships, but especially in, gay ones. There's a lot of casual sex. It's easy to find casual partners, but it's very hard when you find ones that you really hit it off with and they're just incredible. But trying to bridge that gap and develop an ongoing relationship with someone you develop feelings for when they've been living on a steady diet of loads and loads of casual partners and there's always someone better around the corner. So that's kind of the inspiration for that. So we have 3 different kinds of stories. One's very heavily passionate with a bittersweet ending. The other one is very wild and kinky and a group sort of thing, but it ends very HFN. I can never find out exactly what an HFN is. I mean, you're happy for now. They're like, oh, it's going to be this, that, the other. Well, My definition of HFN is it's very happy at the end because we're very, very certain that two relationships come out of this group and that they will be continuing for the foreseeable future as long as whatever. But they're very, very happy by the end. And then the last one was kind of an extension. It's like a postscript to Hound. It's a standalone story, but it deals with one of the characters from Hound, the boyfriend, and how he processes them moving from being the F-buddies to really cementing that happily ever after and knowing that things are basically going to be, they're forever for those two. It's permanent. That was that book. Now, I'm just racing through this because, I don't want to talk too much. So the new book that I've got coming out, which is any time now, I'm just trying to sort out all of those, I thought I had it all set, but what the thing is my publisher decided that the book that I put the proposal for was a little bit too naughty for Amazon. That's what the hold up is, really. I may have found a way around it, but anyway. So first up, these are the tropes that are in Nervous Kid. So it's a book about two guys, teenagers, they're young mid-teens, when they meet because their parents shack up together. So, and then one of them is the straight boy, and the other one is definitely gay, but completely closeted. And it takes a few years, conveniently, on his 18th birthday before things turn a corner for them, and they end up... Okay, I'll mention the tropes because so that is the first love. The bi awakening is because the supposedly straight boyfriend, this is his first love, as in he's had hetero experiences with, as teenagers do, and they do. It doesn't happen only after you're 18, does it, guys? Anyway, taboo relationship. So they have a explosive relationship. However, there are major family issues, and the family basically splits, and they don't see each other for over 20 years, and a lot has happened in those 20 years. So that's where the second chances trope comes in, and the bisexual character has really struggled with that side of his identity because he has tried to be straight. He's been married, he's had a child, but he's now separated. But it's very hard for him to break those ties. The other person has, and I did have a little cue card about this, and it's all got messed up. Oh, jeez. Oh no, it's under triggers, but I'll bring it out here. So the other person has suffered grief and loss and quite, periodic, sort of chronic, but periods of severe depression that have been exacerbated by this grief and loss. So those things are what they're having to deal with when they meet again at like around the 40 mark. One's just under, one's just a little bit over. However, so my difficulty in having this book with Amazon is that it contains some of these things. And, people get all very jumpy about these things. So with all my beta reads and people I'm hitting up for ARCs, I've been basically giving them this little essay and saying, this is what you're going to expect. Because, we don't like nasty shocks, but we don't want to give the plot away either. As usual, and with everything I've written, there are graphic bedroom scenes in it. As mentioned before, we do have the forbidden love with the two boys. There is some strong violence for dramatic purposes. It does get quite kinky with some various things and some, some of that. And there is a lot of very coarse language. That's because these guys are working class, rough, suburban boys that had a rough upbringing. One has managed to do very well for himself professionally. The other one left school early, struggled, became a tradesman, a builder, and they talk like rough Aussie lads. So they say naughty words and they call women chicks and stuff like that. So I got a message to someone. They're not woke Oregon hipsters. They're kind of bad boys. And look, I think that's that. That's not great, is it? But look, that's what you would expect in your triggers. Anyway, so the last little bit here, because we're doing a giveaway. These are the 4 books again: Hound, The Lookout, One Night Stand, and Nervous Kid. And I'll do the ebook giveaway. Usually I leave it on for a few days. Where are we? 72 hours-ish, because these posts tend to come up in people's feeds, several days. Well, they certainly come up in mine. I'll comment on something and go, oh, wow, and I'm like, oh, God, this was from last week, but it's just put it up as if it's brand new in my feed. So just, look, post me a pic of a bear. I do like the human variety, but, the animal variety is cute as well, whatever. It's just cuter in a different way. Right, so I don't have my books. I've been waiting months, a long time to get them. So I have new covers for them. So this is my sophisticated, printed out, trying to make it as big as a paperback thing of Hound with this hot looking bear here. And that was from Nadia Mack. Thank you, Nadia. And this was the cute bear on the Lookout. The Lookout used to look like this, but they don't look like scruffy bear boys and otters to me. It's good, I like it, but I don't think it represents the characters in it as much. So that was given the boot. The third one that's Casey and Casey Carmine, thank you, and Nadia Mack, thank you, designed this book. And look at this. I even got it in a hardback. It's so awesome. I'm so excited about it. And that's the one with the 3 stories in it. There we are. I posted a preview pic of Nervous Kid. So it's the same design that Casey has done based on Nadia's original covers. And it's got a really nice tattooed bear on the front of it. But I haven't got a book for that yet either. It's to come. I will just have a quick look here because it is now, what is the time? Wow. I've been very concise here. So I've even got time to look at the comments. Oh, NW Wally Steele, you're so lovely. Joe, hello Joe, haven't seen you before. Jeff, oh wow, that's good. Sorry I didn't get to see your chat properly. My internet was not working, so I got, hey guy. Anyway, up. It was actually quite entertaining, but I had to watch the replay to work out what you were actually saying. Sandra, I don't know you, Sandra. It's so lovely that you came here. I'm squinting like this because I've about 95% blind at the moment. When one eye is a bit better, it's about 90%. So I tend to look at things about that far away. So excited for this. I think it's going to be awesome. Also could listen to you all day. Love an Aussie accent. You've watched too much Home and Away, Nathaniel. We're boring. But it's so nice of you to say. Roger. I'm I'm sorry, Roger, you don't lip read and I can't sign, but I'm so glad you came. And these subtitles are very much for Roger. Oh, well, Valentina, you came. Brilliant. I'm so glad to see you here as well. I think, what is it, 150 something now. I did have a little passage from just the beginning of the new book to read, and I have to read it off my phone because I'd normally read it on my iPad, but I'm using that right now. So where are we? Bear with me here. And Google Docs does weird things on my phone. So I apologize, but I think this one's okay. So this is just at the beginning. It's the lead character, Ryan, and his office manager, Marissa. And so this is a prologue, and it is actually set in the present. And then the book goes back to the past with all the teen drama, and then we'll come back to the present again. So this is my best impression of a lesbian rock singer. Sweetie, this call for a quote came in before. Art Deco apartment in Bondi. Some guy called, I can hear her rifling through papers. Dom, wants a full bespoke kitchen, period style. Wow, must have a few dollars in the bank. I smile at her melodious tone. She's an awesome singer, gigging on weekends here and there with her lesbian band. I love Marissa to bits. All new age wild rock chick with jangly bracelets, crystals, incense and meditation. And a self-proclaimed psychic. I reckon it's just a unique talent for human observation rather than any kind of magic, but I'm not going to burst her bubble. She's a human sunflower, a cheerful and open presence. She runs our office like clockwork and has every one of us builders under her thumb. I'm driving back east right now, Marissa. I can be there within the hour. Will you give him a call and see whether that suits? It's Friday evening, Ryan. You should be knocking off. Don't you have a life? She has a point there. I am kind of boring. I own, well, me and the bank, a tiny one-bedroom terrace in Newtown. It's old, but as a carpenter and builder, I'm just the man to fix it up on those rare occasions when I have time and energy. The shops and restaurants and the bustle of King Street are just a few minutes walk away. Best of all, there's real lane access to my minuscule back courtyard so I can park my ute. You might think that's unnecessary detail, but you've clearly never tried to park in Newtown. Now I'm done banging on about my house. There is not much more to tell. Like I said, I'm boring. I pretty much keep to myself. I go to the Bears night down at the Townie some Sundays. I even manage to score the occasional subpar fuck. I have a couple of friends, just enough to temper my hermit-like existence, and I'm perennially single, boring. Which is why at 5:30 on a Friday evening, I'm making a 45-minute journey over to Bondi to see a prospective client. If not for that, I'd probably at home, glued to Netflix and eating takeaway. When I reach my destination, it's already well after 6. I'd expected to have to trawl the streets of Bondi to find a park, but luck is on my side and I find one on the same block. I take a minute to tidy myself in the mirror, roughly finger combing the thick locks that hang down to my collar. I'm 39, but I still get away with the longer hair. I've undercut the side so it isn't too Fabio. I'm not thinning and my mop has yet to go grey. Plus, I've had long hair all my life. People I know would have a heart attack if I cut it all off. I glanced down at my clothes. Oh, sorry, that was my alarm telling me to shut up, but I'll finish this. I glanced down at my work clothes, worse for wear after a hard day on the job. A big tattooed cuddly bear in dirty tradie gear and steel-capped boots might go down well in certain gay circles, but it's hardly a good look to present to a snotty, rich eastern suburbs client. Oh well, tough titties really. I could have made him wait till next week now, couldn't I? The building is one of those Art Deco ones with curved solid brick balconies. I buzz the doorbell as I check through my bag, making sure I have everything. Hello. The male voice is confident, commanding, masculine. Hi. What was his name again? Dom. I'm here for the kitchen quote. Great. Come up, 3rd floor. Inside the lobby, it's like something from an old Woody Allen film. Dark wooden paneling, carved banisters, one of those quaint old elevators with a cage and the heavy polished wood sliding door. I decide to take the stairs. When I reach the apartment door and knock, I take a moment to try and brush some of the dust off my high-vis shirt and hard yakka shorts. The door opens, I look up and do a double take. It can't be, can it? The longer I stare, the more my suspicions are confirmed. How long has it been? Over 20 years, that's how long, Ryan. The man before me is the same guy from back then. Oh, you know what? This is where Docs has messed it up. It's messed it up. I'm going to have to leave it there because it's giving me an old version. I have no idea why my phone did that. It's the wrong bit. Anyway, I'm pretty much out of time, so I'll post the rest of that prologue. We're pretty much at the end of it anyway. Oh, Casey. Oh, so lovely you could make it, Casey. And Liz and Vin, and Sussex is here too. Oh, thank you guys for coming. I'm so happy. It is now 1:58 or something, so I better go. I would really love to introduce the next awesome author, but my memory's like a sieve, and I can't remember who comes next. I'm so sorry. Whoever you are, you're awesome and you're wonderful, and I'm going to pass the baton on to you now. And thank you so much for coming and watching. It's been really great. It's been well worth staying up till 2 a.m., but I do that all the time anyway. And I hope you have a amazing night, guys. Thank you so much.